Okay, I want to give to take this further by giving some practical examples. All right. So this example is just a follow up to the barter exchange strategy I described in the previous recording. Now, you have to tell stories, so you have to share your stories. Okay, so the goal is you want to sell, and you are giving people flexible options to buy from you. They can pay you in cash, they can pay you in kind, whether in product or service format. All right. Then what do you do with that when you've achieved that? You've achieved that outcome, you've made your money, and you've also gotten whatever your payment in kind is. What can you do with that going forward with that person? Well, not necessarily with the person, but it could be with the person, because you could use somebody else's story with that individual. You then tell your story. The reason is people love stories. People love to hear how you made it happen for yourself, or even how you started, not necessarily about the sale, but just about you, about your business. In my case, I talk both about my business, the work I do, as well as how I sell. All right. So in this particular example, you're going to see, like I said, it's a follow up to the barter exchange strategy I described. So I'm actually telling one of those stories in this article. So what I do is I actually, in fact, before I started doing a lot of videos on the subject of selling, I actually did a lot of writing on the subject of selling. So this is my blog, the Self-Development Nuggets blog. It's a multidisciplinary blog. So you do know, those of you who followed me for a while, you know I cover quite a lot of different subjects. But they are subjects that I've been consistently following up on for more than 15 years. So there's a lot of method to my madness. All right. But mainly, of course, it's the issue of web marketing success, farm business best practice, domestic violence, generally advocacy, but specifically against men, and then best practice parenting. All right, but right now, this screen you're looking at, I'm actually going to just quickly take you through what I did with the story about the sale I made to a gentleman from the Philippines who was running a pig farm, who I actually touched on this story in the best practice, the barter exchange video. All right, who then made payment by purchasing books from my online store. So I'm actually going to take you through. First of all, let me just do that here. I'm going to go to my online store. Okay, so that's it there. Lulu.com/spotlight/SDA products. So while that is loading, those of you who know where I'm based at, you know that connectivity is not the best of things to use here. Power supply connectivity, we have to wait longer. Those of you in places like the USA and co, you know you have broadband. We don't have that. So, but we don't complain. So I always tell my friends who are abroad that they should be grateful for what they are. No matter what the challenges are, you do have some things that are basic necessities that kind of work out for you, including food for the most part. All right, back to the subject. Okay, so the online store is about to load. We'll get back to that later. I just want to show you the stuff from which he made the purchases. You're going to see the story as I've written it out. So what I do is I use a lot of screenshots. I always advise you do that just in case you lose the stuff on your phone. Please try and do screenshots of important conversations and messages, because you might be able to use them as selling tools later on. So the title of this write-up was "Barter Your Digital Products to Make More Money," a true story. Right. So I'm going to put the URL in the description for this video, all right, so that you can just go to the article and read it by yourself. But basically, as I mentioned that Nelson, we haven't been in touch for a while. I do know this pandemic has thrown a lot of things out of sync for many people. So what I have tried to do is to stay in touch with everybody, especially through the social media platforms. All right. So he came back to me after he read an email. 24 hours later, after I read an email I sent to him. What I had done was, normally at the end of the year or towards certain festive occasions, I do what I call flash promos. And I do this all the time with people that are on my mailing list database. That's why it's advisable you choose to subscribe. All you have to do is send me an email through tayo@tksole.com, right? tayo@tksole.com, and send me your phone number, your email address. You'll be writing from there, your WhatsApp phone number, and your details, company name, what you do, blah blah blah. Or you can just go to my website and fill a form if it's available there, and I will add it to my database. And then you can always call me. We can talk if you need any of my products or services. So once anybody's done that, you become a member of my subscriber mailing list database, and that's what happened with him. He had actually received that offer from me, having made an inquiry before of that nature. So this was the message he sent to me after he read my offer. This was in 2014. This was my, I think I was doing the December. I was about 1.5 years old in Benin Republic at the time, and I was doing very well. So said, "Dear Tayo, first of all, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your family. I hope I was not late for your year-end promo. I was fully engaged with my work as I'm planning to take vacation to the Philippines by next week. I read your email and I can't resist the offer. As such, please find attached the receipt of the items I purchased from Lulu.com as mentioned in your email below. Hope to receive your ration formulator along with your freebies at the earliest so I can start familiarizing myself with the program while I'm on vacation. This will be of great help in expanding my piggery business. Once again, Happy New Year. Many thanks. Best regards, Nelson." Now, you know, you can tell a prospective buyer how to get your product by paying for some other product you have, which is available on a platform that he or she has access to. If you are in the part of the world where maybe it's not easy to get payment for the person, you've got to be a creative thinking person. This is the thing. A lot of people don't understand that. They are so one-dimensional in their thinking. Once you can't function, once the person cannot meet them on the level they're used to, their brains just shut down. And that's why many people lose sales. I have been trained by adversity, okay, to hone my selling skills to the point where my mind is always working multiple algorithms in quote. I'm always thinking of multiple ways to approach the situation I'm discussing with a potential buyer, so that as he's coming up with some objections, which is typical in the sales conversation, I'm coming up with alternatives. Even if I don't have alternatives at that point in time, I am actually going to go back to him later on, maybe with an SMS, with a WhatsApp message, with an email, with a phone call, to say, hey, what if we did it this way? What if we did it that way? And many times I've been able to close sales by doing that. So you can see here the Christmas of our screenshot of the Christmas of our response he did, So, and you can see that the attachment of the invoice there, and all that in the screenshot of that message. All right. Now, if you are curious about the details of the promotional offer I made to him, and this is where the Barter Exchange strategy kind of gets expressed in written form, so you can see an example of what I did. So it was on the 18th of December I sent that message. You can see his email came on the 30th, okay, of December. Look at that. I think that's probably about 12 days in between, so about a week and a half or so. Now I said, "Hi Nelson," like I said, because now this was directly to him alone. I had done a blanket email to other people because most of my clients were in the livestock, especially the poultry farming business and fish farming. But his was different. He was a pig farmer. So the product I was selling, I was offering to people at that time, was a poultry farm manager. And of course, he didn't have any need for that. But I knew what he needed. That's why I told you about the client or the target audience profiling. If you profile your target audience properly, you will know what each person is about. I mentioned that in the previous video, so just go and listen to it. I've talked about profiling them, knowing exactly what their hot buttons are. So I knew what this guy wanted. I knew what his own priorities were, what his interest was. So I decided to create a customized version of my offer to him. This is why you want to get to know every single person one-on-one. I don't care how many they are. It's in your best interest. For this kind of selling that I'm doing, it's necessary, because I'm not selling a product that is generically in demand. All right. So I said, "Hi Nelson," like I said, I wanted to find out if you'd be taking up any of my year-end promo offers. Okay, just to mention that I had more than one promo offer. I do that all the time. But I realized that since you are into hog farming, hog being paid, the offer of my poultry farm manager may not be so useful to you. So instead, I've come up with something different for you as follows. If you can purchase the following paperback books from my online store and have them shipped to my brother-in-law's address below. All right. So then I put my brother-in-law's name, Shegun. Okay. He's been wonderful. He's helped me receive payment from several people, because I do not use a PayPal address. If you're familiar with the rules on PayPal, you know that PayPal does not allow Nigerians to receive payment through their platform. So we cannot legally do that. I don't know if some other people are doing it illegally. Okay, so what I do, if at all anybody insists on that channel for payment, is to ask my brother-in-law if he can help. Sometimes, most times, and that was a long time ago. We don't even work like that anymore. I don't do all of that anymore, because I have different ways to get. I began to use Western Union more frequently, RealMoneyTransfer.com, so many other websites. So I've not had any to do that for years. All right, but at that time, yeah, that was one of the ways I kind of got around it, because look, I needed the money to come in, and if that was possible, send the payment to my brother-in-law. If the person who wanted to buy from me did not feel it was too much of a risk, they would do it. All right. So I sent him the details, and then I said, if you take up this offer, you get to pay 10,192. At that time, the exchange rate was about 120 naira thereabouts, I think, to a dollar. Okay, I think that's how much it was about that time, if I'm correct. I can't remember now. All right, but the exchange rate was much better than what it is today. All right, so I said instead of 12,005, you pay 10,192.8. I said that once the books are received in London, I will send you. So he was to send the books to my brother-in-law in London. So he wasn't even sending money, by the way. He was actually going to ship the books to my brother-in-law. This was the strategy. I needed my books, but I didn't want to use my money. So, it's just the same thing. It's like I gave him money to buy for me, but he's just in the Philippines or in the UAE in his office. So I said, buy it for me and send it to me. So I'm getting my books, but I don't have to dip my hands in my pocket to get the currency, the money to buy. And so that's the same thing as getting paid. Because even if I got paid directly, I would still need to make the purchase and get the book shipped. So I was actually killing two birds with one stone. I was getting somebody to buy it for me. I didn't have to deal with exchange rate issues, and I was still getting the books shipped to me all this. So he was even handling shipping. Was covering the shipping and handling cost. So once the books are received in London, I will send you a free copy of my Ration Formulator, fully personalized for you, along with free copies of my 4-part ebook series on best practice farm management. So see the link there. So we'll just open that link. Okay, separately, but let's go and see my online store right now. Okay, so this is my online store. You see the about me there. These are my books. Okay, so by the time that page opens, you see those. Okay, here are the books, the best practice. These are the books I told him I'll send to him free. You can see each one is about some of them are $9.99. There's one of them that's $14.99. These are books I've sold. There are some other. You can see my Livestock Feed Formulation Handbook there. It's been on sale since 2009 online, and you can see, believe me, I've actually sold this for $82.9, $0.5 as stated there. I've actually sold it several times, and that's the beauty of this whole use of the internet platform. All right, so so that's the online store. So you can see more there. We can put a link in the description box as well. Okay, so and I said plus. Okay, let's just take a look at the books themselves. Okay, here are the books. Okay, farm business best practice, 10 articles and stories for true, blah blah blah. So this is one of them, and then you have to follow and see others. So those are most of them are actually compilations of write-ups I've done on the subject of best practice farm business management. So I compiled my write-ups together and turn them into books, and I sell them. That's another strategy we'll talk about in a different recording. All right, so plus I will send you a free PDF copy of my agribusiness research paper. I was paid 2,500 euros to write by Holland-based NGO last December. That's 2013. It was about the rate of adoption and use of my Ration Formulator software by farm CEOs. The items I need you to purchase and ship to my brother-in-laws in London are my new Speaking Ideas paperback. I think I mentioned the others. So price is that. See it on sale at so and so place. Then my new Kukuru Danger book. Again, if you go and read the write-up, this is the Kukuru Danger book here. If I show you let me see, the Speaking Ideas book. It's somewhere there anyway. What matters is you understand. You can go through the online store and check out all those things. Just to see that these are real products I had created already. They were on sale. Quite a number of them I already made money from. So the Lulu shipping / handling fee for delivery of the books, from checking at my end using the shopping cart with internet shipping address, it would be about. So I computed that. I said in summary, I've worked out the total amount that A, B, and C above will come to. So I did all the math for him and totaled it up and told him, okay, so this is what it comes to. Now I said I've converted that into Nigerian naira using an exchange. Okay, at that time you can see that the exchange rate prevailing at that time was 186. Right now it's almost 500 naira. At that time it was 186 naira to $1. Okay, and I said, this was for him to just use as a basis for converting. So he was going to be able to do that and pay about $54.8. All right, so I was telling him he was going to make some savings. Okay, so when I told him that this removed the problem of sending money to me to pay for the software. So I told him, if you're interested in taking up this offer, do let me know in your service. Okay, so I also included there at the bottom there a description of offers I made to other farm CEOs who are poultry farmers. Right now, you can see here, this is the record of, this is the invoice I actually got when he made the purchase. All right, you can see his name, Nelson Jr. Thank you for shopping at Lulu. We will email your receipt in just a few minutes. Your order number is blah blah blah. Shipping to this blatter. So the whole thing which is sent to me is that, and then you can see details of what he bought. Like I instructed him to the Speaking Ideas book and the Kukuru Danger book. This is actually my personal memoir. I wrote it because of my kids. I wanted to share my story with them. Okay. Now I end by asking you the same question I wrote in this. I posted in this article. Wouldn't it be great if you could use the above strategy to boost local and international sales of your products and services? I mean, if you think about it, as I said earlier, I ended up eating my cake and having it. All right. So, in the past, you might be interested to know that Nelson had actually purchased my feed formulation handbook. He bought it, as I told you, I've sold it for $82.5 US. You know, as from my online store. You know, so this was the second time he was buying for me within 4 weeks, which you'll agree with me, shows that he was satisfied with what he got the first time. You know, so, and that's the story really. The point is, you've got to, as I said before in the Barter Exchange video, you've got to be flexible in your thinking. You can make sales and make repeat sales, and the people you are selling to will confidently come back to you to buy more because they will be satisfied. So it means, first of all, you have a foundation based on competence. All right, you have foundation based on competence, based on integrity. They know that what you are offering is going to help them. They are sure about it. They've checked. They are certain that what you are offering will add value to them tangibly. So therefore, you should act from that position of strength, that you know that what you're selling will work. Therefore, all you have to do is find a way to make it easy for them to pay you. Now, all these things I'm saying about being flexible and all that may not make sense to just everybody, because there are some of you in some parts of the world where payment is a very straightforward thing. Use a credit card, blah, blah, blah. But in these tough times, even when there are credit cards, people sometimes find themselves topping their credit limit, and then they find that they can't afford to buy anymore. And then the option of barter exchange become more realistic to pursue. This is the reason why I'm doing this. So I'll show you another particular example by giving you visual proof, okay, or guidance as to how I did it. So because in the barter exchange video I just talked about it. Here I've shown you how I went about it, and then how I shared the story of how I went about it. So in the next recording, I'm actually going to talk about the strategy of storytelling for selling. Okay, it's a very important strategy, and it can save you a lot of money, and it will cost you literally nothing. It will cost you literally nothing most times if you do it yourself and you know how to do it right, and it can make you a lot of money. You know. All right. So if you found this useful and you need to get across to me, you need help making use of the ideas, just use the contact details on your screen to get across to me. I wish you well.